What's up, guys? I'm Steve. In today's video, we're going to be going over my top Week 12 waiver wire pickups. So let's just get right into it. Let's start with the man himself. The number one waiver wire pickup in my opinion. Treylon Burks. Finally, right? Um, he's still only rostered in 20% of Yahoo leagues so far up until Week 11, and of course before his injury, we've only seen some small samples of what Treylon Burks is truly capable of. Well, we certainly know what he's capable of now. So I don't think we are at his full potential even yet, even with what we saw. Before his injury, he was slowly starting to assert himself into that number one role. He was averaging about 13 yards a catch. That's pretty solid. Now he comes out here in week 11 and simply just dominates, setting career highs in both catches and yards, commanding a 30% target share while still only running a route on 66% of the dropbacks. That's what's really the crazy part about this. He's still not running a route on every play, which is insane. So he had the 30% target share, and then while only still running a route on 66% of the dropbacks, he had 8 targets for 7 catches and 111 receiving yards, including that mint 51-yard over-the-shoulder catch near the end of the game, that basket catch. Almost getting to the end zone twice. I think he was stopped inside the 5 both time or 2 times there. Treylon Burks is just dripping with upside. Those who are patient with him on their bench, or if you had him on your IR, I think you're surely going to be rewarded for those patients. Break the bank for the man. He could very easily be a league winner. Why not? You know, we're in week 12. You may as well, right? So my next big waiver wire pickup, Latavius Murray. He's owned in 25% of Yahoo leagues. From a fantasy football perspective, I think the best thing to happen to Latavius Murray was Melvin Gordon getting waived. To quote Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros, "Volume is king," unquote. And Latavius Murray has certainly been receiving that. He's painful to watch. I think we can agree. But he had 17 rushes for 49 yards, the 1 rushing touchdown to go along with 4 catches on 4 targets for 23 yards. I mean, 2.6 yards a carry is nothing to write home about, but the volume is there. With Melvin Gordon out of the picture now, Latavius Murray's role is bound to increase in the offense with that added volume. Latavius Murray should have low-end flex appeal going forward for the rest of the season. Probably going to bust up a low-end RB2 week here and there, but I think you could feel pretty comfortable starting him based on the matchup, of course. And quickly, too, to a smaller extent, if you have Chase Edmonds out there, I think he's worth a gander. If you have a spot, a speculative ad, why not? We don't know what's going to happen. Latavius Murray is 32 years old. I don't know how much he can handle. So we're going to go to a wide receiver here, another wide receiver, Darius Slayton of the New York Giants. Wan'Dale Robinson being done for the year makes Darius Slayton a sneaky little ad here. He's owned in 51% of leagues, which kind of surprised me. I didn't think it'd be that high. But he's definitely looking at a bigger role in this offense with no Rondell Robinson now. Robinson. Darius Slayton in week 11, he caught 5 of his 10 targets for 86 receiving yards. I don't expect him to see 10 targets every game just because of how low the passing volume is in this offense. But I feel he's going to be the one soaking up all those extra targets that are left behind now from Wan'Dale Robinson. He has a tough Thanksgiving matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, but he still could be viable for the rest of the season. If he's out there, hey, you got room, go pick him up. Samaje Perine, I'm not going to spend too much time on him because Joe Mixon could very well just clear concussion protocol, and well, we're back to square one with him. If you have Joe Mixon, you should have Samaje Perine on your bench just as your stud insurance. But just in case you don't, I'm guessing you don't because he's only owned in 9% of Yahoo leagues. But ultimately, if Joe Mixon is ruled out for Week 12, Samaje Perine is most likely going to be stepping into a 3-down role. His rushing is something to be desired, but he certainly made his presence felt with the 3 receiving TDs in Week 11. The volume is going to be there if Joe Mixon is out. So if you own Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine is on your waiver wire, I'd be breaking the bank to get him, but only if you're a Joe Mixon owner. You need this insurance. We're going into the playoffs, people. You need this insurance for your studs. But if you're somebody who doesn't own Joe Mixon and you're just hoping maybe he's out and you can play him, See, it's tricky. I'd probably spend no more than 15% of my fab on him. Again, Joe Mixon clears concussion protocol. That's it. We're not even talking about him. So, all right. This is a guy we've talked about before. The window is closing, people. Deshaun Watson. He started practicing with the team once again before their Week 11 matchup. He's slated to start Week 13 in a revenge game against the team that drafted him, the Houston Texans. In the 4 years as a starter, he's finished no worse than the QB4. He's coming back to face the Houston Texans, man. Come on, you gotta pick him up. There's going to be fire in that game. There's going to be some bad blood for sure. His playoff schedule isn't too bad if he could shake off the rust quick enough when he comes back. And he certainly has the potential to be a league winner. And if you need a quarterback and he's still out there, grab him now, right now. Go get him. That window's closing. It's closing. Shut almost. It's like right there. Go get him. I'm going to go to another receiver here, Paris Campbell. I talked about him in a previous video and the benefits he would have with having Matt Ryan back under center. Look, man, I talked about him with Matt Ryan, and it's certainly still showing the impact Matt Ryan has being under center. Under new head coach Jeff Saturday, the last 2 games with Matt Ryan under center, Paris Campbell has at least 5 catches, at least 65 receiving yards. The Colts' playoff schedule is a little tough, but nothing that can't be exploited. Paris Campbell is still only owned in 40% of Yahoo leagues, and he is an every week wide receiver 3 with an upside of wide receiver 2 numbers. If you have the roster space, go get him. He's going to be pretty consistent with Matt Ryan, and go look back at his numbers with Matt Ryan. They're very consistent. All right, so going over a tight end here, Foster Moreau. The usage is there with no Darren Waller or Hunter Renfrow. The production just hasn't produced into anything you'd want in your fantasy starting lineup. But with the tight end landscape, Foster Moreau, he's still playing over 60 snaps in the last 2 games. He's on the field for almost the whole game, which gives him that upside for targets. He's still only owned at 40% of Yahoo leagues. If you need a flyer at tight end, go pick him up. You can certainly do worse. Now we're going to go to somebody who's actually producing at the tight end position. Juwan Johnson. He's still only owned at 31% of Yahoo leagues. Over his last 6 games, he has at least 40 receiving yards in those games to go along with 5 receiving touchdowns. He's getting red zone work with 4 receiving touchdowns inside the 20. He's playing almost every snap. He played 36 last week, averaging almost 5 targets a game. His last 3 weekly tight end finishes have been tight end 5 in week 9, tight end 4 in week 10, and tight end 4 this week in week 11, last week. If he's out there, go get him. The tight end landscape sucks. It's terrible. And he's looking like somebody you can most likely start every week at this point until he does bust. So I'm just going to go over one quick name, just quickly. Odell Beckham Jr. The latest on Odell Cornelius Beckham Jr. is that he plans on visiting the Giants and the Cowboys after Thanksgiving. From a fantasy perspective, I think we're all hoping he goes to Dallas simply based on the passing volume. It's there in the Dallas offense where it is not there in the New York Giants. But with saying that, he certainly has the potential to be the number 1 guy on the New York Giants. So there is that upside as well. So if you're receiver needy and want to take a flyer on the guy, hey, go for it. We certainly know his talent and what he's capable of. Coming back off of back-to-back ACL surgeries, I would certainly keep our expectations low, at least for now, until we can see what he can still do. But again, if you need a receiver and you're receiver needy, he's only owned in 43% of Yahoo leagues. Take a shot on him. Why not? And I think that's all I got. So that's my top waiver wire picks, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.